Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, real field temperature 90 degrees. It is sticky down on that field as we say hello for the first time to Aditi Kinkhabwala.
Spiro, it sure is. But now look, as the Texans broke their last practice of the week, quarterback C.J. Stroud stepped up and spoke up. He turned to his teammates and he said that it's time to look themselves in the mirror, time to hold themselves accountable, and time to not be afraid to step on someone else's toes to hold them accountable. Even as he told us yesterday, growing pains are part of the risk of introducing a new offense, and that there's no reason to lose minds just yet. His urgency is palpable. Good news, Spiro. Today, veteran wide receiver Christian Kirk suits up for the first time.
Yeah, Didi, that is huge news. Remember, they brought him in the offseason, the trade, taking on his former team in his first game with his new team. Does that take some of the burden off the shoulders of Nico Collins? He did not get that one off cleanly. Only 42 yards in the punt. C.J. Stroud of the Texans offense back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. Subway. Keep moving with Subway's Fresh Fit menu. And by Verizon. The NFL is powered by Verizon 5G.
Little stroll down memory lane, some of the memorable moments between these two teams. That last shot was the first ever coaching win for D'Amico. That was 2 years ago, same exact point of the season. Week 3, they came here 0-2, same way they are today. Won that game by 20, and that went on to catapult their season, got them into the playoffs. As these two coaches now write the latest chapter with Liam Cohen taking over the reins here in Jacksonville. Sensational over the last couple of years, but this Texans offense, remember they had that just tremendous rookie season for CJ, as Arch alluded to, but there's been that regression which eventually led to the coaching change.
And again, when you look at this offense, it's a distribution offense, and there's a heavy demand on the quarterback, not only with the protections, but also they read the defense, and a lot of these routes are options based on where it's playing, and that's why, sure, they haven't been able to get on the same page yet.
40-yard line. So remember that massive contract extension that they gave him last year, over $140 million guaranteed, just 2 career playoff appearances for Lawrence. Obviously, they're going to need a lot more from him as the pressure continues to mount on their franchise quarterback, as we have an injured player.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Burger King. At BK, have it your way. You rule. And by FanDuel. Play your game.
Here in Jacksonville, really impressive drive orchestrated by Trevor Lawrence. At one point, hit 5 straight, 5 of 7 on that drive, 44 yards. Everbank Stadium. 85 degrees, feels a lot hotter than that down on the field as we take a look at the first quarter numbers, with Jacksonville holding possession and a 7-0 lead as they will have it first down. Let's get our first NFL Today update. Pittsburgh and New England with Adam Schein.
Spiro, Arch, we have some history. Aaron Rodgers passes Brett Favre. 4th all-time for passing touchdowns. 12 yards to DK Metcalf. 14-0 Pittsburgh. Back to you.
Back in Jacksonville, early stages, second quarter, with the Jags holding a 7-0 lead. Spiro and Arch and Didi down on the field. We got to talk about the NFL today, seeing those guys in their get-ups. We'll talk about Matt Ryan's wig a little bit later, but how cool was it seeing Brent Musburger back in the NFL Today studio?
It's pretty cool. You know, there's many times in my life I wake up and I do wish it was the 70s or the 80s. I didn't get to really experience the 70s, but it seemed like a really cool time to be alive.
Brent Musburger started mid-70s, 80s, 90s, just unbelievable run, and really special seeing Brent back in our studios in New York. In catch. Good to see Christian Kirk back on the field. Last 3 years here in Jacksonville. Remember, he signed that big free agent deal in 22, had an excellent first year, over 1,100 yards, but injuries besetting his last 2 seasons. Last year, the collarbone injury, week 8, ended his season. It really felt like he would be a guy who can take some of the load off Nico Collins.
Really became, and there he is on the sideline on 3rd and 2, really became one of Trevor Lawrence's favorite targets and one of the consistent big plays in the passing game.
Is for Jacksonville. Let's get another NFL Today update to New York and Adam Shine.
Spiro, here's a nugget for you. The Colts haven't punted this year. How about that? Jonathan Taylor touchdown, 17-6. Indy, back to you.
Our NFL throwback continues. Different NFL franchise, same city. 1975, Bump Phillips. Those great Houston Oilers teams. And what a fun trip down memory lane it has been as we rejoin you here from Jacksonville. 7-3. Jags in front. Kahimi Fairbairn chip shot field goal to get the Texans their first points. Adam Shine.
Spiro, Arch. Take a look at this. We got a good one in D.C. Jeremy McNichols. You think he's down? He's not. 60 yards. Takes it to the house. 17-10. Washington, back to you.
40-yard line as the field tilts back in Houston's favor. For Jacksonville, it's such a good start. But the Texans' defense has been huge since four-point game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC's Big Chicken Sandwich, just $3.99. And by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, we've got some of the most impressive sportsmen on our crew. This is our Bob Cormandy, one of our talented camera operators, who also happens to be a world-class windsurfer. Getting some nice run out of the Atlantic this weekend.
Dennis Gardeck and Jackson DeVille out to San Jose Elementary School. More than 200 7 to 10-year-olds in the Pine Forest neighborhood spent the day laughing and running through football drills. And those Somos Duval shirts you see, Spiro, those mean we are Duval.
All right, Abidi, wonderful initiative. Always great to see these teams get out in their local communities.
Why don't you give us a Duval?
I would not do it justice.
That's a great answer. In Jacksonville, I know you gave up a lot of points last week to Cincinnati, but they also are a much improved defense this year.
All right, both of these teams, a lot to talk about in their halftime locker rooms. 7-3 Jacksonville. And a big one between these two AFC South teams as we go downstairs to Didi with D'Amico Ryans.
All right, D'Amico, your defense obviously holding its own, but how can you help your offense?
Yeah, we just have to sustain drives. You got to be able to finish, continue to gain positive plays, move down the field, and put the ball in the end zone.
We appreciate it.
All right, Didi, as D'Amico will make his way into the locker room. They're down 4 points, and it will be Jags football to begin the second half. We will get you our first half highlights from Verizon next, and a word from your local station.
Don't hurt him, Kev. All dripped up. Got the new iPhone 17 Pro, and Verizon picked up the tab on the best 5G network, baby.
No way.
It's me. Handsome and hilarious.
No way.
No way. I know. I'm even finer in person. Ooh.
No way.
Wait, it was about the iPhone? Come on.
New and existing customers can get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us on the best 5G network.
That's real nice.
Don't want to miss a game? Just tell Siri, show me the football schedule.
Back with you from Jacksonville as we get ready for the second half. The Jags will have the football, and they got a 7-3 lead. Big early season game between these two teams, both hopefuls to come out of the AFC South. Spiro and Arch will hear from Ndidi in a second. Biggest takeaways, first half, ugly offense and really good defense from both sides.
Yeah, it looks like a game from 1975. Low scoring and kind of a slugfest, but both football teams offensively really having a hard time getting going. You look at Jacksonville, only 11 yards rushing in the first half. And for Houston, to me, most of their problems still center around their inability to consistently protect and give their quarterback time to make a throw.
This one will bounce into the end zone. And we'll get a touchback. Good starting field position for Liam Cohen's offense as they will begin at the 35. A couple of seconds ago, Aditi with the Jags head coach.
Okay, Liam, we're seeing your defense play as tough as possible, but 11 rush yards out of your offense. How much of a priority is to get that going?
Yeah, we got to get it going, absolutely. We have to call more of them, and we also have to go execute. They showed us a couple different looks than we were prepared for, and we got to adjust to those things and go execute in the second half.
We appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
In the first half. This was where he stood coming into this game. 84 offense, 49 defense. Liam Cohen did hint that maybe we would see that shade a little bit more towards the defensive side in this matchup with Houston, as we have an injured Houston Texan here. It's C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Let's get an NFL Today update to New York and Adam Scheid.
Spiro, Arch, the Colts are cruising. Is this Daniel Jones or Peyton Manning? My goodness, touchdown to Michael Pittman. 27-6, Indy, back to you.
30.
Well, Spiro, when you look at the Houston Texans offense, they said they were close, but they still haven't put it together. It just seems a little bit off. There's nothing open downfield. And then as we talked about early in this game, I don't believe that they've been able to manage the pressure. I don't believe they've improved in their protection. And Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen have been wreaking havoc. Walker with 4 pressures and a sack. Hines-Allen with 3 pressures, 9 total. 40% of the time they've been able to get to C.J. Stroud. To me, that's the story of the game.
Arch, what about these offensive line changes? This is what they looked like last year. This was the most common offensive line alignment. This is what they looked like in the opener. Then Jake Andrews, their center, went down to injury. They had to move Ursary over to right tackle. Week 2, inserted Patterson in at center. And so obviously a lot of moving parts. It's been frustrating when we just haven't been able to get that group some chemistry that they put together in the offseason. And obviously you're seeing some of the after effects of those issues.
Yeah.
Time now to get you our game flow presented by Progressive Insurance. Excellent start for this Jacksonville offense. The rookie Bashal Tutin got them that early touchdown, but then, boy, the bottom just fell out for their offense. Jacksonville's defense, meantime, some punishing plays. Trayvon Walker, the early defensive gem, then Will Anderson. We've seen some really high-level defense, Arch, from both of these teams.
We have. And listen, there's a reason why the highest paid guys on defense, typically the guys that rush the passer. And when you have, like both of these two teams do, they have 2 guys up front that have the ability to win one-on-ones and wreck the game. It really enhances your defense. And I think Anderson and Hunter and those guys up front have had a tremendous game for Houston. But right now in this game, Jacksonville's defensive line, to me, has the edge.
5. Let's get an NFL Today update. Busy day around the league. Adam Scheid from New York.
Spiro, it's like Arch has always said to me, you need great special teams. Jalen Lane, Lano, 90 yards to the house. Look at this guy. 27-10 Washington. Back to you.
And boy, in a day where they don't have Jaden Daniels, impressive.
He is. When you look at him, he's got elite physical traits. His speed has been talked about, what he did at the NFL scouting combine, but boy, he was, as you saw on that last play, he's a smaller back, 5'9", 210 pounds, but he is a tough inside runner, and he's shown he's had a great ability to break tackles and be a factor already in just his 3rd game.
Pass catch by Schultz as we check in with Aditi.
Spiro, it has been a year for Josh Hines-Allen. Just before the start of the season, his son Wesley rang the bell, signaling the end of his cancer treatment and the end of what the Jaguars star defensive end told us was both the scariest and most inspiring summer of his life. Thinking of his 7-year-old battling leukemia drove him, Josh said. I saw him fight every day, and we're seeing what the results are out here on the field.
Indeed, you just can't imagine what he and his wife Caitlin have gone through, but just amazing to see young Wesley doing well, in full remission, fully recovered. And we had a really nice chat with Josh Hines Allen. He said, my son's journey has made me a better father. I've been more present, just trying to cherish every moment, and just wonderful to see them doing well. Open for the Bengals and eventually ended with that Cincinnati win.
Yeah, tough duty. It looked like last year in the last half of the season that he was on his way to becoming a star. And it just hasn't happened. It just hasn't happened this season.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Uber Eats. When football makes you hungry, order Uber Eats. Lowe's. Tackle your to-do list early with Lowe's to earn your Sunday. And by Zevo. People friendly, bug deadly.
Boy, just crazy. Last time Jacksonville beat Houston in this stadium, December of 2017. 6 straight wins for the Texans here. Of course, all the teams last couple of years that have struggled. Liam Cohen, is he the head coach who's going to turn this thing around? Next Sunday, you can count on an NFL on CBS doubleheader delivering some great early games, including the Commanders and the Falcons. Later, a matchup between MVPs Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Ravens, Chiefs on the road in Kansas City. It all begins at noon Eastern with the NFL Today, live from KC. You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. NFL Today update. Here's Adam Schein.
Spiro, Arch, take a look at this. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, that's a nifty throw. That's a nifty catch. Calvin Austin, 21-14 Pittsburgh. 2:16 to go. Back to you.
The Jacksonville Jaguars looking for a pivotal early season win in the division. All tied at 10 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, where now meets next. And by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
One of 4th and 3, and then the one that, everybody saw the, perhaps questionable pass interference call. This was 4th and 3, deep in their own territory. Coverage bust, and then here's the one that everybody talks about with Trevor Hunter. To me, probably shouldn't have been warranted calling pass interference, but a defense that took the ball away and you think should have been able to close that game out, were not at their best on the final drive.
Here's Noel, the rookie, and he's going to get to the 25-yard line. So just think of what's at stake here for this Houston Texans team. 0-2. It has been ugly, miscues both sides, highly penalized both sides. We've seen the takeaways, the interception thrown by each of these quarterbacks in the second half, the Collins touchdown on the busted coverage, and ETN moments ago. And that's where we stand here in Jacksonville. 7-point Jags lead.
Cursory, a little bit of help on Josh Hines Allen, who has completely wrecked your offense the entire game. That's one person I would make sure cannot impact that throw, and he made the play.
The Houston Texans have begun the season 0-3 in a 3-game hole already in the division in the AFC South. Liam Cohen, first year of this new regime in Jacksonville, gets the Jags to 2-1 as they try to keep pace early part of the season with the Colts atop the AFC South. Where it wasn't pretty, but these are the kind of ugly games. You got to figure out a way to win. A young team trying to climb the ranks in the AFC South.
Not pretty, to say it lightly, but boy, I mean, it did get exciting there at the end. But boy, the defense, this defense really getting to the quarterback, pressuring the quarterback, and taking the ball away, you can win with that formula, Spiro.
17-10 the final here in Jacksonville. Coming up next, the State Farm postgame show. Now for Argentini, Gene Steratore, Spiro Dini saying so long from Jacksonville. We'll get you back to New York for all the scores and highlights right after this on CBS.